Hello, good morning, everyone. We are live at Labadi for the technical stakeholders breakfast meeting by World Food Program. It's a gathering of all stakeholders within the value chain, and we believe we are going to live here with key outcomes that would support in enhancing our food systems. I have here with me Priscilla. Priscilla, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Thank you, Alberta. My name is Priscilla Kotobamfo. I am the founder and CEO of Shepherd's Rice Mills, which is a producer of parboiled rice made in the northern region of Ghana, selling throughout the country.
Wow. So basically, what do you do within the value chain?
So basically, I support smallholder farmers who produce rice and other commodities. We support them with training, we support them with post-harvest services, and in addition to that, we purchase from them so we can process rice and sell onto the market.
So you are really contributing to reducing post-harvest losses then, to a large extent?
I believe so.
Great.
We're doing our best.
Great. So what do you think about the technical stakeholders meeting by World Food Program?
I believe it's a great way to bring everyone's mind or view on board. Most of the times, there are initiatives that have been developed that you find that it's missing or there's a gap in terms of other perspectives from other actors within the value chain. So I believe this is a very well-rounded approach to bring all the right people, both in the private sector and all the other sectors as well, and other stages of businesses, because I believe that it's important to include SMEs, and also corporate businesses and the government sector. So this is a great way to bring everyone's view on board.
Great. I think you are right on points. I came in a bit early and had a wonderful interaction with most of the value chain players here. And I think there's a good representation here. And what are your expected outcomes, basically?
I believe that with the right conversations, we should have solutions that would fast track the development or the incomes of smallholder farmers and also the agricultural value chain.
Great, great. I think the key word here is fast track.
Yes.
And we believe World Food Program normally will action on whatever concept intervention that they put on the ground. So we are hoping that this will be fast track. So thank you so much. And then let's meet again after this session and then look at basically what the future is and how we can best support in sustaining this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's a great source of power adding to your option.
I'm Ananecha Akosa. I work with AgriHouse Foundation. And am I getting any more people to talk to before the program? Okay, yeah, I have a gentleman coming in. Great, sir. My name is Alberta, and you are?
I'm Jacob Akisbadek.
Jacob, you're from which organization?
I am the Municipal Director of Agriculture for Laura Municipal.
Oh, wow. So you're coming all the way from the northern region?
Yes.
Wow. So this means a lot to you, right?
A lot.
So what do you think about it? This is by World Food Program. What do you think about it?
World Food Program, of course, we've been working with World Food Program for a long time now. And they've been rolling out a lot of programs for our farmers.
Yeah.
At the moment, I am, as I said, with Laura Municipal Department of Agriculture, but always being WFP, even when I was at the regional level in WA. And what we do with them has been to make sure that our smallholder farmers are given all the food security support.
Yeah.
And on the basis of that, I think we have been working with them in making sure that there is improvement in nutrition in the farm households. And today we are here to support them and ensure that technically we ensure that all the WFP within the and indeed the whole of Ghana work to the benefit of the smallholder farmers.
So you mainly work with smallholder farmers. One, I want to know what they grow, and I want to know, I think World Food Forum had one of the key projects, the MVAC project. I don't know whether you know about it.
Yes.
Your farmers were beneficiaries of that project.
Yes.
Great. So basically, what are they producing now?
We have varied crops that currently being produced. We have maize, millet, sorghum, and a lot of vegetables. And we are glad that the MVAC is currently working with 1 hour of processes.
Great.
And indeed,
Great.
at the moment, a lot of farmers are being supported with fertilizer and other inputs to ensure that they would come out with improved food security.
Great. It's good to know some of the gains are still being sustained from the NVAC, and some of your farmers are still benefiting from it. So basically, the earlier lady spoke about it's been fast track. What do you think? What is one word that for your outcome? What are your expected outcome? Describing it in just one statement.
In one statement.
In one statement.
That would be too simplistic. I would want to rather say, my take home would be to ensure that our farmers continue to improve upon their production. And indeed, we have an entire value chain to look at here. So it's not just the farmers, it's also about other actors, the processors, all of them eventually being tied to ensure that our food systems are enhanced.
So she spoke about fast track, and you are looking at improvements and ensuring that our food systems are enhanced. Great. So thank you so much. And then maybe after we can meet here again and look at discuss the deliberations and how we can all support to sustain it. So thank you
so much.
All right. Okay, I have one fine gentleman here with me again. My name is Alberta Nanecha Akosa. You are?
I'm Gabriel Osei Jr.
Okay, you are from which?
I'm from Ghana National Game.
Oh, wow. So I think your chain or your acting group, to say, are more useful.
That's
so
right.
basically, straight to the point, what do you think about the technical stakeholders gathering?
I think this is a fantastic meeting because all stakeholders here have the youth at heart.
Yeah.
And we are looking at how to catalyze investment in agriculture that will benefit the youth, ensure food security, ensure improved livelihoods, and also, to a large extent, reduce graduate and youth unemployment in this country. So it's perfect.
I mean, I think it's very interesting that World Food Program has found it, worthy to involve, because within the past years, I think we've had more of a theoretical approach when it comes to engaging the national service personnel. Do you think this will afford them a more practical approach, and it will also support to enhance the food systems like our earlier gentleman mentioned?
Definitely, most definitely. One thing that as a nation we fail to do is to harness the latent power of the youth when it comes to agriculture. The youth, they say, are the future leaders, but future leaders without the right capacity, future leaders without the right skills, it's very problematic. And we have a human security issue when it comes to unemployment of the youth. And so this is one of the ways that we can ensure that the Ghanaian youth, whether the formal youth or the informal youth, take up agriculture as an alternative livelihood venture. That, of course, contributes to the overall development of the country. So yes, for national service personnel across the country, or even as a scheme, this is very, very good for us. We have just transitioned from a scheme into an authority. And one of the cardinal things we are looking at is using agriculture as a tool for national development. Okay,
so Gabriel, we have about 12 agri-colleges in the country. We have a number of the universities, both private. Would they all be do you see them all benefiting after this, from this project, or it will be just focused on the colleges and some, or there will be more of a pilot to start with?
Right. So let me take it from this end. Averagely, we deploy over 5,000 to 6,000 young people with various skills in agriculture across the country. And if all of these young people, if we do not create an avenue for them through programs like these, programs with the World Food Program, with the MasterCard Foundation, with Agri-Impact Limited, and all of those stakeholders in agriculture, we are going to have a serious situation. This will impact them. We, on our part, we have a program that ensures that we absorb as many of the young people with skills in agriculture into that program to ensure that they have something to rely on after national service is the buffer
Yeah.
from school to work,
Exactly.
and we ensure that they are really prepared for the world of work in agriculture.
Great. It's good to know you are playing a vital role within all this, and we are hoping that it will not only support, but it will contribute to advancing our sector, especially with the youth playing a critical role. So, what are you, one word or in one statement, what are your expected outcome?
Right. So I am expecting that with these wonderful stakeholders here, we would be able to come out with some strategies that will ensure that the youth, for me, I'm always for the youth, and I think most of the stakeholders here are as well, ensuring that the youth are groomed very well and they take up agriculture, especially with technology and innovation, just as the World Food Programme is leading the way.
I think that's excellent. I think it's great the youth keep demonstrating beyond reasonable doubts that if resourced, if empowered, they'll be able to really contribute. And so this is more of a practical approach, and then we are looking forward to all stakeholders getting involved to support to advancing it. So thank you so much, and maybe we'll meet after the program again. Okay,
excellent.
sure. Thank you. Okay, so we are still here at the World Food Program Technical Stakeholders Breakfast Meeting. And my name is still Albert Ananecha Akosa. I have Godfred with me. Godfred.
Yeah, my name is Godfred Yameche. I'm the head of value chain at the Ghana Commodity Exchange.
Oh, okay. So basically, tell us, like in a minute, what GCE is all about. Yeah.
Yeah. So GCX, Ghana Commodity Exchange.
Okay.
Yeah. So we provide markets, ready market for the smallholder farmers and even farmers at large in Ghana. So it's an electronic platform where commodities are traded. We currently trade on the sports market. So the farmers we work with, we currently collaborate with the WFP on the agri-business for youth employment as well.
Wow.
So this is also helping. Wow. We come in to help solve the post-harvest issues in the country as well.
And do you believe this session would support to enhance whatever you've been already doing, because you have a relationship already?
Greatly, it will, yes. So because this already has to do with agriculture in the country. And we are encouraging the youth to also do that. So, example, in collaboration with the WFP, we're currently procuring a lot of post-harvest equipment in this regards, where, you know, as the southern sector have even started harvesting, and then it's still raining at this point, so drying of the grains is also a major challenge. So once we are able to provide them with dryers, they are able to dry the grains to the right moisture content for storage, and this curb aflatoxin infestation.
Wow, great. I mean, it's good to learn about some of the things that you are doing already. And so what is your key expected outcome from this session?
With this, my major expectation is we will be able to propel the economy in relation to agriculture and encourage a lot of the youth in there. So at the end of the day, the issues we have when it comes to post-harvest losses will be minimal. And then we are there, GCS is already there to provide that market for whatever production that the farmers will use.
Great. So we have about 4 key outcomes so far: fast track, advancements, and then yours is propelling, right? And the other one's also getting more youth into agriculture. Great, excellent. So maybe we would be monitoring, we'll be keeping our eyes on the ground to see the outcomes of this. So thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, this is the most famous Isaac. Okay, so as Isaac, you're already very known, but maybe you could tell us about you and what you've been doing within the space.
Hi, my name is Isaac Sessi. I am the founder of Sessi Technologies. We are an agri-tech company that develops technology solutions to help reduce post-harvest losses. We have a number of innovations. We have a moisture meter. We have hermetic storage solutions. We have a market access platform, among other solutions, with the aim of creating a comprehensive solution to help address farmers' post-harvest needs in Ghana.
Great. So, Isaac, this really speaks to you, right? This technical session. How important or how relevant it is first to you and to the youth of today?
I think for me, it is important because it allows us to understand who are the different stakeholders in the post-harvest value chain, what they are doing. I identify collaboration opportunities to work together, and also the opportunity to meet people doing things and see how what we're doing complements what they are doing.
Do you think it has come at the right time, looking at how, the humble beginnings and how the youth, we've been all, pushing to grow and advance the youth? Do you think it has come at an appropriate time?
I do think so. I do think so, especially around this time where we're looking to see more young people go into agriculture, and we're challenging the notion that agriculture is for old people, and so I think it's coming at the right time so that people see beyond primary production what the opopportunities are in the value chain.
I think WFP has done a great job. You see the balance, and I'm happy to see more. I've seen SATEC, and there's a balance of the industry stakeholders, and more important, the youth who really identify and speak to it. So in one statement, what is your really expected outcome from this session?
I think that my expected outcome is to see real tangible progress.
Real tangible results.
Yes.
Thank you. Fast track, real tangible results, propelling more youth, and all that is what we are all expecting to see from this session. Okay, great. I think I have two more, and then I think we've spoken a lot earlier.
Yes.
But you could introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Eric Amponsa-Boatin. I am an economist and a tax consultant with PKF.
All right. So, Mr. Boateng,
yes,
how relevant and how important is this technical stakeholders meeting to the sector that you operate in?
Okay, thank you. I think that if you look at the theme, we are looking at enhancing the income of the farmer by making sure that we minimize post-harvest losses. So I expect that we are going to talk about, for example, from the stage where the farmer gets the land, till the time that the final product is out. And we have so many things along that line. For example, even the seeds that they will plant, getting the land, fertilizer. And more importantly, see, when the harvest is made, we should be asking ourselves, why do they have post-harvest losses? The infrastructure is bad, the road networks, how even the product is stored. So I expect that we will delve more into it. And more importantly, I expect government to have a policy regarding tax so that more individuals and entities will be attracted to go into that sector, because I believe that there's really a lot of money in the sector if we plan and manage it well.
Let me ask you, sorry, I'm not cutting, but do you think the issue of taxation or taxation in general have been overlooked when it comes to the value chains, or when it comes to food systems, when it comes to managing post-harvest losses? Do you think it plays a critical role, or it has been overlooked?
Yes, if you look at our tax laws, we have exemptions, 10-year exemptions for those who cultivate a certain kind of crop. For example, if you go into the tree crop, the cash crops, all those ones, we have those exemptions. But I'm looking at financial institutions, ensuring that they can support these farmers by giving them soft loans. And government must also do something to help them. So, for example, I expect that they get more tax exemptions.
More tax exemptions.
The inputs, some of them bring machines, equipment, which they use on their farms. Why should they be paying duty at the ports? Now, you look at VAT. Even though food is exempt. But we are looking at a situation where we will have more tax exemptions so that those people who want to delve into the agri sector will actually benefit.
Okay, so one last question. I have a few people. One last question. So let's make it short.
Okay.
I just spoke to Ceci Technologies, and then I've seen Saytech here. And then what do you think? Do you think there should be a balance? Because I think they are doing more of appropriate technology. And we are looking at the youth, we are looking at smallholder farmers. Do you think there should be a working balance where they could also come into play and bring their innovations to bear, and then also be able to manufacture some of these appropriate technology that the farmers can adopt and use here?
Yes, of course. You know, in the past, farming has basically been tilling the land, sometimes with your bare hands, sometimes with a cutlass, the machete.
Yeah.
But we are looking at using combined harvesters, like you rightly mentioned. I believe there are simple tools which we can manufacture here, and that will be able to aid them. I think that the youth shy away from agric because of the fact that they think that you have to use your strength, and the sun is up there, and then you go on the farm. But I believe that if they know that you can use simple tools which can enhance their work, most of them will go into agric.
All right, thank you
welcome.
so much. We are looking at policies here, and we are hoping that these take-homes can be shared, and so every value chain actor would pick theirs from it. Hello.
Hi.
My name is Alberta, and you are?
I'm Hiba.
Hiba.
Yes,
Hiba,
I'm
where
from
you coming?
Degas Ghana Limited.
Okay, Degas, what are you into?
Degas is an agri fintech platform that finances smallholder farmers in Ghana. We are based in Tokyo, but we operate in Ghana mainly, and we have supported a cumulative 65,000 smallholder farmers in northern Ghana and the Upper West. But the retention is a different number, and this year we're working with around 21,000 smallholder farmers in the maize value chain.
So this session is very important to you then?
Absolutely.
What are you looking to? What kind of discussions are you looking forward to? And then what is really your expected outcome after this?
I think that over the years, there has been a lot of talk and programs around access to finance and improving accessibility to financing smallholder farmers. And somewhat, we've made some progress, but I feel like this is one of the first discussions that we're having around equipment and post-harvest management. And that mainly because it's been frowned upon. Like, how do we support private sector companies but still reach that grassroots impact to smallholder farmers? I feel like international organizations and governments wanted to make the impact on smallholder farmers, but not directly on a private sector. It's been a kind of I guess a confusion or something that we can solve. But I feel like this initiative is one of the first and one of the rarest to actually embrace the private sector's potential and potential impact on improving the smallholder farmer.
Is Degas playing any role within this, or you are looking at also playing a role within this?
We are an agro champion, so we are also providing our network of smallholder farmers, youth smallholder farmers, to benefit from the equipment.
Perfect. So in one statement, what is your expected outcome?
Better outcomes and improved life quality for smallholder farmers.
Better outcomes and then
improved life quality for smallholder farmers.
Improvement of life quality and then better outcomes. We have fast track, we have improvement of life quality, we have policies around taxation, we have propelling and driving more youth into agriculture. And I think we are already having the take-homes here, and we are hoping that we will all contribute to ensuring this technical session becomes really practicable and, most importantly, sustainable. So thank you, and then maybe we have a conversation after.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, so we have our final interviewee. My name is Alberta, and you are?
Yeah, I'm Solomon Lomo.
Solomon, which organization are you coming from?
From Dimension Engineering Services.
Dimension Engineering Service. Engineering?
Yeah.
What's the relationship here?
Yeah, we are equipment designer and fabricators.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Where are you located?
We are at Accra here.
Oh, I see.
So we are at Pokiasi.
Pokiasi.
Yeah.
And so what have you been doing so far? What are some of the...
You know, we design equipment for food processing. So irrespective of your raw material in terms of agriculture products, we study the behavior of the product and what you want to come up with finally as a product. So we design equipment for the processing.
I see. So what kind of equipment have you designed so far? Some of them already on the market?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
far we have a juice processing line, we have dehydrators, we even design a corn mill. So mostly whatever the clients want, we design according to the client specifications.
So, Solomon,
yeah.
How important is this World Food Program's technical stakeholders meeting to you?
Right, we're talking about value chain. Most of our raw materials are getting waste or spoiled after harvesting. So we process them to keep the shelf life longer. So this is very important. Mainly we, the designers, are very more important to the farmers.
Great.
Because, for instance, when we take a plantain, before it get out of the market, or before it get to the market, it's dry. In case we can dehydrate the plantain, turn into powder or chips before the consumer. So we add a very long shelf life to the plantain.
Yeah. So you are here today. There are a lot of stakeholders here, right, from farmers. Everybody is basically here. We have engineers here. What, in one statement, what is your expected outcome?
Yeah, we want to see how we can link up with each other so we can work as a chain.
Work as a chain.
Yeah, so maybe the farmer or the producer, we can let them know that there is a process line that will give a shelf life to the product.
Yeah. Solomon, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And Solomon sums us up all working together, working as collectively together to ensure the chains are functioning. So we've had fast track, we have propelling the youth, we have demonstrating beyond reasonable fact that the youth can do this. So I think back to the hall, let's see what our panelists have for us. Thank you, and looking forward to a successful World Food Program technical stakeholders meeting. My name again is Alberta Nanecha Akosa. I work with AgriHouse Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alberta. So good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Store and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day. Information is a great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day. Information is a great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day. Information is a great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com livelihoods.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day. Information is a great source of power. Adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly.
Representative of the Minister for Food and Agriculture, the Deputy Director and Head of Policy Planning and Analysis Division of the Policy Planning and M&E Directorate, Josephine Quagreen, representative of the Minister for Education, who is the Director General of TVET Commission, Dr. Fred Asamoah, our meeting enablers, the Country Director of the World Food Programme, Barbara Clemens, the Country Director of the MasterCard Foundation, Rika Remgamba, the Editor, Graphic, Theophilos Yate, the Director, Marketing and Sales, Franklin Sowa, and the team that have enabled this production in such a short space of time. The Director, African Engineering Services of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, AKB De Young, captains and promoters of the agriculture industry, farmers, smallholder farmers, promoters, our audience members across our digital channels, our media colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to have the opportunity to address this august body this morning. Foremost, I wish to thank the World Food Programme, the Ministry for Food and Agriculture, and the MasterCard Foundation for this important and timely meeting. The collaboration foregrounds public-private partnership that benefits we, the people of Ghana. Today's discussion is premised on the theme Transforming Agriculture Productivity in Ghana, Enhancing Incomes of Smallholder Farmers through Reduction in Post-Harvest Losses. The direction of this Technical Stakeholders Forum is set at the time when this country is strategically working to attain self-sufficiency in food production. For us at the Graphic Communications Group Ltd, and the lead brand, The Daily Graphic, the mandate of our developmental journalism is committed to being associated with initiatives that promote the growth and development of such critical national questions. Distinguished audience members, in my view, this construct is one of the most strategic and critical placeholders that we need to achieve as a people, with its impact on the livelihoods of the predominantly smallholder farmers whose fortunes are linked to Ghana's agriculture industry. Distinguished participants, as we work to improve yields per acreage, the subject of post-harvest losses is critical enough to engage the attention of the country and its development partners. And we concede that if we do not deal with this challenge The high investments in scaling up agricultural production and cultivation of even large mechanized farms will not guarantee us the self-sufficiency and security we envisage in agriculture. Therefore, for me, the takeout that I look forward to out of the experts that are herein gathered is that the transformation that we seek should stem from education on improved farming methods and practices, efficient and effective harvesting, adequate transportation channels from farm gate to well-controlled storage facilities, and ultimately adding value by processing, packaging, distribution, and marketing to ensure optimal value for producers in the entire agro-food chain. All these require well-applied, focused, and consistent resource allocation, planning, and monitoring. Distinguished participants, the country directors of the World Food Programme and the MasterCard Foundation, our technical participants and audience members, I am confident in my anticipation that our policymakers and technical experts, whom we do not lack in numbers and experience, will help us progress this agenda, leaving here clear in our minds and ready to execute the plans we put together in addition to what we are already doing. Thank you for your attention and welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Afo, MD for Daily. I don't want to mention the bank again, unless you want it. All right, so thank you so much. So as you are aware, we are here today to have discussions on how we can enhance smallholder farmers' incomes and reduce post-harvest losses. Also to let you know that in the course of this morning, we will also be inaugurating a technical committee that will help us or have been working with a World Food Programme already. So much ado, I would like to invite the country director for World Food Programme in the person of Madame Barbara Clemens to give us an opening remarks. Just a quick announcement, please. Car number GE 732317 and car number GW 299014. Please kindly go and repark your cars. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Please allow me to rest and stand on existing protocols. I love that terminology because then I don't have to remember anything at the onset. I don't have a speech prepared. My staff didn't prepare a speech. I guess they have confidence in me. Stephen came to brief me to say, what should you talk about? And I say, you have confidence that I will know, but here goes. I want to, although I'm standing on existing protocols, I can't thank the MasterCard Foundation enough for their confidence in WFP. We are one of 8 country offices on the continent that has this project with MasterCard Foundation. And WFP Ghana has taken the unprecedented, I would say, tact of how we go about identifying farmers that will be a recipient of our post-harvest technical support as well as the equipment. And that is informed to no large extent of what we've done historically here in Ghana, where initially we started off targeting individual farmers with other projects. And we have graduated. We've soon looked at the content of Ghana and say, well, how does the agricultural industry function in Ghana? And it's mainly along the lines of aggregators. We've had some successes with production facility where we provided catalytic support to them. And as such, we had a localization contract with them or understanding with them that through them reaching smallholder farmers, WFP gets to impact the lives of much more smallholder farmers. One of the things that we don't do so well internally, we don't grow from our successes and lessons learned. And in Ghana, different from other country offices, we took that formula and say, how can we then translate that to the work that we're doing with the MasterCard Foundation? In the context of Ghana, farmers are supported through networks of aggregators. We have coined that terminology or that practice for who we focus on. The first tier of beneficiaries that we're focusing on are the aggregators. And for WFP MasterCard partnership, we have coined the terminology of agro champions. And through them, the first qualifying targeting criteria is that they must come with a proven network of smallholder farmers that they're working with. And hence the reason why many of them are here in this room, that we want to tap into that network. And we are hopefully going to reach at least 100,000 smallholder farmers through the MasterCard Foundation project, where we are seeking to provide technical support as well as equipment, post-harvest equipment for those smallholder farmers. It's unprecedented in WFP, but it speaks directly to the context that we're working in. And we believe that durable solutions are not out of the box. Well, durable solutions are out of the box solutions that find its basis within the common practices of the context that we're working with. So again, I don't think in any other country office in WFP we would find a partnership in a media outlet, but we tend to do things a little bit different here in the WFP country office. We welcome the partnership with Graphic. We applaud the work that Graphic is doing, and it speaks to what is happening, what we expect to happen in the private sector space. That government creates the enabling environment, and all of the other actors, development partners, humanitarian partners, the private sector, the work that we are all doing, we seek to support that. We seek to identify gaps and look at our niche and how we can fill it. So I thank you all for your deliberations, and congratulate your deliberations here today. And also, I think a key focus for WFP Ghana is the work that we are doing with youth. And when we talk about the agricultural space, I think most people tend to hone in just on the production. And when we talk about making agricultural sexy again to attract youth into that, let's make sure that we broaden the glossary of what that means. It's not just going with a hoe or going with instruments and digging and planting. It's the entire value chain from seed production, irrigation, fertilization, growing, transport, storage, you name it. If we were living in an ideal world and Ghana was leading the charge, I would like to see an economic office, a business development office in some of the Western countries that were representing Ghanaian products, because we can grow the products, we can get the products to market, but who's going to buy it? Definitely, we should prioritize the purchasing of those products within Ghana over foreign imports. But we also need to aggressively market those products beyond the shores of Ghana. And I think that's where the young people also can have a huge space. when we talk about post-harvest losses, how can we transform the production or products that we are producing to have a completely and totally different purpose? So as I leave Ghana and as I leave this particular project, I'd like us to continue to imagine Ghana agricultural space and the work that we're doing with post-harvest loss in a completely and totally out-of-the-box way. We should not be bound by what the traditional constructs are of what is post-harvest loss, and what we do in the agricultural space is wide. And I can tell you, it may seem as if this is, for my staff, they know this is Barbara just dreaming again, but the rest of the world is dreaming as well, and it's time for us to wake up and dream along with them, and dream different dreams that are dynamic, that are innovative, and that will propel us to the next generation of agriculturalists in Ghana, and also prepare us to compete in this global economy and in our quest to ensure zero hunger by 2030. Thank you all, and I wish you the best of deliberations today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Indeed, we need to dream, dreams that will propel us into making us more competitive. Right. Just so you know, we are streaming live on GTV, and we will go live on CTFM at exactly 9:30. Right. So with that said, our next presentation, which is the main presentation for today, which will lead us into the inauguration of the technical team, will be done by Mr. Stephen Odatefio, who is the head of food systems at the WFP Ghana. Let's welcome him, please.
It's going to be a presentation, so I want to make sure everybody can see. It looks like everybody before me is shorter. Okay, great. All right, hi everybody. Thank you very much for making the time. My name is Stephen Odatefio, Head of Food Systems, WFP Ghana. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. Some of you have come from as far as Fumbisi, Laura, Gushegu, Kumewu, and you're all here today to spend some quality time with us and pretty much chat forward what it's going to take to create sustainable transformation for our smallholder farmers across the country. And so I would like to present to you what we've been up to over the past 2.5 years. For your information, the MasterCard Foundation Agribusiness for Youth Employment Program, being implemented by the World Food Program Ghana, is in its 2nd half year. And so it has about 2.5 more years to go. It exits in 2026. And we believe that at this critical point of the program's implementation, we would be wise to actually make sure that all the technical stakeholders connected to the success of this are involved in its implementation and its success, which then has an impact on its sustainability. And so I'll run you through a few slides on, okay, great, on what our food system strategy is at WFP. And we just had our country strategic plan approved. And what it pretty much entails is, okay. The slide is refusing to go to the next. So this is the same issue that Kwesi had, right? Can we resolve it? Okay, the next slide. Great. So we have a food system strategy that runs between 2024 to 2028. Embedded within it is basically an emphasis on how we create sustainable food system value chains, integrated within the concept of efficient production activities. We're looking at how we integrate that production activity into post-harvest reduction losses and how we transform the losses into improved income for smallholder farmers. 21 times we've actually seen the repetition of private sector engagement in our country strategic plan. And so part of how we intend to implement this MasterCard Foundation Agribusiness for Youth Employment program is to ensure that we have all the knots tied with respect to all the relevant parties that can make this successful, which includes the private sector, as they should be the focal point of implementing any agribusiness-related intervention that is sought to be sustainable. And so please go on to the next slide. The next one. The next one. Maybe you are delaying my presentation so that City can capture me for the live at 9:30. What? All right. Okay, this one. Okay. All right, great. Thank you. Okay, so a little video just to tell us about the program. So thank you very much for your attention. And I think this sets the tone for me to go into what our implementation outlook has been. So in 2021, we had actually launched a value chain analysis report. And then we went ahead to launch a gender action report. We've launched a co-creation workshop, and then we've been able to target about 16,000 participants. This was pretty much an introduction into what we plan to do in 2024. That's what we've been up to in between 2021 and 2023 to set the tone, develop a lot of context for what we intend to do, and that brings us to what we've been up to this year. So if you're a technical stakeholder and you feel like a lot has been done without you, I can assure you that we've actually not spent more than 24% of what we've been entrusted with, which means there is more room to actually implement the program and to bring all of you in to ensure that we are the co-creators of this transformation. And so what we've started over the first 6 months of 2024 is that we've been able to target about 100,000 beneficiaries through the private sector. So as Barbara had indicated, our model is different compared to other country offices. We are pretty much focused on a program that is sustainable, where we are marrying sustainability with inclusive private sector participation. What that means is that if you have an agribusiness that is already connected to a network of smallholder farmers, an agribusiness that is already providing access to inputs for farmers, that is providing access to mechanization, access to training, access to post-harvest equipment, and then, of course, access to markets. We quantify and term this batch of contributors to this narrative as agro-champions. So they are championing access to various services that improve the lives of the smallholder farmers. So whether you are an agribusiness, or you are a foundation, or you are an NGO, or you are from the Regional Agricultural Directorate, once your activity is connected to actually facilitating all these various services to smallholder farmers, you become an agro-champion. But more specifically, the institutions that we believe should be able to champion and amplify what we intend to achieve in terms of what we are looking at in 100,000 smallholder farmers are the agribusinesses of this country. And we should not be in any doubt, or there should be no question about why this model shouldn't be sustainable. Because when the program expires in 2026, who would then be able to champion it at their cost, and of course, with the networks that they've currently created. And that is why we believe that the agribusinesses that we've targeted for this year, 16 of them, and then of course 3 of them are parastatal institutions that have actually received certain unique mandates to be able to lead smallholder farmer improvements and transformation. And so that's what we've been able to do with a targeting of 100,000 beneficiaries through the private sector. We've not had to spend a single dime on being able to find these smallholder farmers. We've also, as we are actually speaking, constituting what we call the Agro Champions Post-Harvest Roundtable. In other words, Afro. So this Afro event, nothing to do with my growing hair, is connected simply to how we bring all the stakeholders to how we deliberate on how we learn from lessons and also impact these smallholder farmers working with their agribusinesses. So it's basically to introduce everybody to everybody in terms of what everybody contributes to what we want to do. So that's very, very important during the life of this program today. And within the meat of all that we are doing, the aim is to provide access to post-harvest equipment for all these smallholder farmers by working through a very structured narrative and program to ensure that it is responsibly done, there is real accountability for this exercise, and there's also transparency in how it is done. What that means is that if you, for example, took 100,000 smallholder farmers and you discarded the notion of agribusinesses connected to them, and you decided to work with them as a unit, you would have to create what we know as farmer organizations or farmer-based organizations. So maybe we'd have about 400 farmer-based organizations cut across these 100,000 smallholder farmers. What that would mean is that if it's going to cost about $15,000 to $25,000 to secure a thresher for each of these farmer organizations and then a dryer for each of these farmer organizations, it's going to cost us exactly over $12 million to do that. That is quite expensive. So why don't we partner with agribusinesses that already have post-harvest equipment but are trying to penetrate further into communities that don't within their network of smallholder farmers? So one thing we noticed from the data that we looked at was that about 40% of all the agribusinesses we are working with are concentrated in the northern and the upper west regions. I don't know what is it about the upper west regions or the northern regions, but there's a lot that can be done more in the upper east regions and the savannah areas where a lot of these agro champions are not focused. So our program is basically trying to map out the areas where there is a gap and there is a need, and how these agribusinesses can be provided with post-harvest equipment to channel those services to those areas that are lacking, which also allows them to connect more with their smallholder farmers and impact their lives better. And then beyond that, we also believe that there also has to be an establishment of a post-harvest mechanization training school. We all know that there are about 7 or so agricultural training colleges in the country. We also have the universities. And as some of you can attest, there are some universities that train computer science students who don't even know how to code. It's the same way where we have universities training mechanization engineers who have never actually driven a tractor or don't even know how to repair or change a spanner within a tractor. And I think it is very important that we have a program that speaks specifically to how we empower young agricultural engineers in how they are able to repair and maintain post-harvest equipment. Now, we all know that for all the meals that we've had today sitting before us, it's been a combination of rice, stew, and some chicken. I know it's a breakfast event, but when you tell Ghanaians to come for breakfast, it has to be wache, plantain on beans, or something heavy, because after this, we are all going back to work, and it might not actually suit some sausage and bread and all the British whatnot. So basically, I'm happy I saw a lot of you going for the rice, stew, and chicken, but it's also embarrassing to know that 90% of all that we've consumed today is imported. So our staple diet is an issue of national security. Because if as a nation, 90% of what you consume almost every single day is imported, then it means that we are not being intentional about how we create focal points of interventions. Typically, in a system where you are trying to advance food systems, you would have governments wanting to actually attack every form of commodity that has to be attacked. So, for example, when there was the issue with Niger, and we had to import onions, then there was a cry that we have to produce onions. Anytime there's something that we lack, we have to produce it. But we've not been able to channel over the past 40 years on just 3 commodities that can contribute as much incomes as what we are exporting in cocoa. Cocoa is giving us $2 billion every single year in incomes. But basically, from when you look at the numbers for what we are importing in rice, in tomatoes, and in poultry, it's equivalent to about $2 billion. And we need to have a connected but focused agenda spearheaded by the technical members in this committee to lead the narrative for focus on commodities that can have an immediate impact on our national incomes. And that is why it is important that the talent deficit that exists among agricultural engineers and, of course, among the post-harvest actors, which is the agribusinesses where they import equipment, but when the equipment breaks down, they can't find engineers that are capable of fixing those equipment. And the only expertise available are those who actually imported it that have to come and attend to these equipment. And so on Friday, on the 9th of August, we are traveling all the way to Oahu Agricultural College. On Monday, the 12th of August, we are going all the way to Winchi Agricultural College, and we are launching the first ever post-harvest mechanization program specifically to train young agricultural engineers on how to repair and maintain post-harvest equipment for rice, maize, and soy. And I expect a round of applause for this. Yes, you guys should be applauding when I say something very smart. Okay. So basically, that is what the vision is at WFP. We intend to train about 3,000 young agricultural college students from the universities and the agricultural training colleges over the next 3 years. Hopefully, by the time the program exits, we should create a system or a structure where we don't have to make any further investments into the program for it to be sustained. Let me give you an example. Ashesi University prided and created its model around its ability to secure job placements for 99% of all its graduates. And that was pretty much the buy-in point to which parents were willing to spend $10,000 to $15,000 a semester just to get their kids in there. It's in the same vein if each participant is having to pay 2,100 Ghana cedis, and they know that after the program they are able to secure a job placement in an agribusiness because there is a need for it anyway. They would pay any amount to make sure that they are part of the program. And that is how we gravitate away from donor-funded programs that rely on extra donor-funded programs to see sustainability for the next 100 years, which is where we've been as a country today. So what WFP's role is not to solve the problem, but to create a conversation that allows you, the technical stakeholders, and those of you on the grounds, the agribusinesses, the RADs, the DDAs, the AESDs, the Chamber of Agri-Commerce, and the Chamber of Agribusiness to lead that narrative to be able to see some transformation. The whole purpose of what we are trying to do is that in about 2 years, there has to be a policy draft. We've been entrusted with $50 million to impact 100,000 smallholder farmers. About 2 years ago, the MasterCard Foundation allocated about $6 million to the Ghana Cares Economic Enclave to impact 6,000 acres of land. So when we are working with $50 million to impact 100,000 smallholder beneficiaries, there has to be optimization of resources. There has to be communication amongst every single one of us so that we are channeling resources in a very responsible way that ensures sustainability. And that is why we cannot discount the fact that government's allocation to agriculture must increase. But it will only increase if there are stories and examples or witnesses to events or programs that say that there was a team of technical stakeholders who hand-holded each other, led the implementation of a program like this, was able to impact 100,000 smallholder farmers with 15 million, which means we can do with 30 million about 300,000, with 60 million about 1 million. So we don't need much to really change the narrative of what it takes to impact the lives of smallholder farmers. We need collaboration, we need exchange of resources, and we need optimization. And which is why that is part of the policy draft that will be led by the Ministry of Agriculture, the Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Department, together with Agricultural Engineering Service Department, and of course the Chamber of Agribusiness, the Peasant Farmers Association, and all our strategic technical partners in the room today. That is very, very important for us to achieve. Number two, We understand that there is a major deficit within the interest of young people to go into agriculture. What would encourage somebody to go into the space if he knows he cannot guarantee markets for his produce? That is the baseline for any business model. If there is a market, I will go into the space. But the only market that can be assured any young farmer is a function of quality. If the produce isn't of the best quality, there will be no market for it. Or there will be a low price attraction for that particular market, which then doesn't encourage a young person to see any serious returns on investments for going into the space. And so in order to galvanize interest, not having to wait when we are targeting agricultural engineers from the universities, or not having to rely on the agricultural science students in the senior secondary schools who actually feel inferior to the integrated or general science students. I mean, when you hear the Presec and Prempeh College and all the others, bluff their weights about, it's actually disheartening because we need to also look at some sort of partnership with Graphic Communications to set up the first ever Ghana agricultural science and maths quiz, which then begins to increase the attraction and the sexiness of agriculture to the young people. And that is part of what our outlook is, which then brings the question of agricultural science should be introduced at the primary school level. Because typically, when I turned 22, I asked my mom what she does. She actually has a rice farm or rice fields or outgrowers in the northern region of about 3,000 smallholder farmers. I never asked her what this business was about until I actually went into private equity, where the set of agribusinesses that we supported were in agribusiness. It is embarrassing. And that is pretty much the same narrative where our young people have to go through certain sensitization programs when their brains are developed and skewed towards the notion that agriculture is not sexy. Our uncles like Uncle Ato and Barbara, and Barbara is not an uncle, Uncle Ato and my auntie Barbara, there's an anti-culture in WFB, by the way, so that's just for information, would actually think of venturing into agriculture right after they've retired. And that is the bane of the issue, where we need to actually force or collaborate with the Ministry of Education, working with the Ministry of Finance, working with donor partners to raise a minimum of $50 million to fund teachers who can then be supported to introduce a curriculum from the primary school all the way through to university. And that is where, when we have our young kids struggling in integrated science, where they don't understand what it means to be carbon or what it means to interpret magnesium, it is all by just growing a simple plant, where they get to understand the value of life and how the sciences play more evidently when you are growing something from scratch. And so that is pretty much the spirit of what we are trying to do. Hopefully in November and December, when the harvests are realized, there will be an impact evaluation. And the impact evaluation is on a simple question of whether these smallholder farmers have seen an increment in their incomes. It's either a yes or a no. And it will be up to us to decide whether it will be a yes or a no from what we are trying to do here. Great. So in 2025, what we also seek to go beyond what we are doing is that 2024, we are just focusing on rice, maize, and soy. We also don't want to take too many steps, as we believe that we need to create a cohort where lessons are learned so we can then expand and then be able to do onions, tomato, and pepper, because those are the 6 commodity value chains that we've been entrusted with to impact for 100,000 farmers, right? The MasterCard Foundation team is here. I should be very careful. Now, we'll continue the impact evaluation of the equipments that have been distributed to the smallholder farmers. And then we'll also now focus on the economic enclaves that have been created by the Ministry of Finance, which would provide a strong basis for how we create very dedicated enclaves that are solving particular problems. And of course, beyond that, the irrigation schemes across the country. We started with our Veime irrigation scheme, but there are 15 others across the country that we need to focus on, especially in the north. And so next year, we'll see a lot of intensification of support to the irrigation schemes across the country, particularly in the north. And then in 2026, we'll then have our final MNR, and then we'll have the post-harvest training, the post-harvest technical roundtable group policy draft, where we would, as a unit and as a team, or we can have an event where we'll present the policy draft to the Ministry of Finance, to the Ministry of Agri, and to the Ministry of Agriculture to be able to push for these policy changes or these policy adaptations that we are seeking. So basically what we've been up to from January to June 2024 is that we've targeted the 100,000 beneficiaries. We've been able to train 16,000 actors in 5 regions of influence thanks to our regional agricultural directorates. We've identified and done extensive due diligence on all the agribusinesses that are seated here today. We intend to increase the number of agribusinesses next year that will be supporting. We've had consultations on the establishment of AFRO, which is the Agro Champions Post-Harvest Roundtable, which actually is evidenced today by your attendance. And then we'll be having consultations and concept development for the post-harvest mechanization training program, which has actually been completed. The first batch of young engineers actually are reporting as we speak to the Ohio Agricultural College, and on Monday, the second batch will report in Wenchi for that launch also. Now, what we are looking at between July to December 2024, we want to now intensify the training of 50,000 smallholder farmers. As you know, all the agro champions here who have contributed about 50,000 smallholder farmers are actually training their smallholder farmers and hand-holding them from inputs all the way through to post-harvest. And so that is actually ongoing as we speak. We've not had to spend a single dime on that because it is being championed by the agro champions. And the only support that we are providing to government through the regional agricultural directorates is for them to actually provide the backstopping needed to make this successful and to incentivize the farmers to keep to the agricultural practices that are required to maximize productivity. We've also provided certified seeds and fertilizers to 3,600 beneficiaries in Laura, Fumbisi, and then Tamale. They are all connected to what we call community and medium-scale processes. These community and medium-scale processes would typically harvest raw materials from smallholder farmers and then transform them into Tom Brown products and then sell to the senior secondary schools. They've actually been dormant, and so we stepped in. We supported the smallholder farmers so that there can be a supply chain mechanism for them to supply the processing facility to then be able to supply the senior high school. So that has actually been done, and some of our agro champions are leading the training of that activity. We have actually launched, we are launching and activating AFRO. We are establishing the post-harvest mechanization training program, and then we are providing post-harvest equipment through the private sector. We are expecting the equipment to be in by October 2024, and so that is about $2 million worth of equipment, about 183 equipments from threshers to dryers to moisture meters to hermetic sacks to the whatnots. Those who are not clapping, you are not going to get it. Capacity building of FBOs, VSLAs, cooperatives, and agro-processors. And then, of course, we'll conduct the usual monitoring and evaluation. And so I'm just going to give a little roadmap of how what we are doing has an impact on the incomes of the smallholder farmers. So number one is that the agro champions will provide the access to the inputs. They're already providing the access to the training. They're already providing access to mechanization and access to markets. That is what we came to meet them doing. They're already doing it. Now, the next step is that the farmers are receiving this sort of support. And the agro champions are expecting that by virtue of this provision of support, the farmers' incomes would be improved by virtue of their yield being improved. So farmers are expecting to convert their expected income into realized income. So you take the issue of rice. You get all the inputs you need for rice production. You are expecting that hopefully 40 days to harvest, you deploy your team onto the field to begin to scout and make sure that they realize those harvests. So that is pretty much what we've been doing for the past so and so years. This support is leading to improved incomes, but there's a big but. The post-harvest equipment penetration rate is low. And that is what we are trying to solve, where it still leads to more losses due to the traditional sorting and threshing and drying mechanism. So I always use this example. Take 1 acre of rice in the Avema irrigation scheme. An acre is supposed to give you about 2 tons of yield at the end of the season. And if you are selling a ton at about 6,000 Ghana cedis, that translates to about 12,000 Ghana cedis in cash that you are expecting. All right? Now, you are happy about this. You've seen it on the books. You are waiting for that. And then 40 days before harvest, there are 2 very important activities you have to do on your rice farm. You either have to employ bird scarers, or you need to get some fish nets to protect your rice from birds. Now, it's interesting that the birds in West Africa, the pests in West Africa, particularly Ghana, are the most vicious, I think, in Africa, if I'm right or wrong. And they are so smart that even times where you have the nets laid out, the birds perform what we call a suicide mission. A batch of the birds, I think from I don't even know, would come in, destroy the nets, die, and then let the others come and eat. Isn't that the selflessness we need as Ghanaians in this country? Where somebody can take it, and these are what the birds are doing. And so basically, it's a big problem where in some areas in the north, farmers growing on maybe 100 acres are actually dedicating just 50 acres for birds to just come and devour their produce, so they can actually keep that other 50. That is the narrative of post-harvest loss, where what you have actually invested in inputs is not enough. There has to be an extra drive to provide fish nets and even bird carriers to protect what you are expecting. Now, let's say the farmer loses half of this 12,000 Ghana cedis from this 1 acre. Now he has to go and dry the rice to be able to sell it to maybe Priscilla of Shepherd Mills or Elom of Agrisolve. Now, he doesn't have a dryer. He only has a tarpaulin, and that tarpaulin I'm sure he's been using for 7 years. This tarpaulin, he actually lays the rice on, and is actually, by the time when he's supposed to now sell that rice, he's losing half of that value, because if he thanks God and it doesn't rain, then he's lucky. Because you'd have to then pack, come back, put it there. There's so much human involvement with respect to that produce. And you are understanding that from the 6,000, you're going to about 3,000 Ghana cedis of his realized income. So you are moving all the way from 12,000 Ghana cedis because some birds ate part of your produce. You've come to 6,000 Ghana cedis because they finished it. And you're coming to 3,000 Ghana cedis because you have to dry them on the floor. And because the quality metric for guaranteeing offtake is in the quality of the produce, you realize that no aggregator would want to buy rice or produce that has been laid bare on the ground, exposed to various ecological pests that actually affects also the price and the negotiation that goes into the offtake. So farmers are hugely disadvantaged because of a lack of post-harvest equipment, and that is why this program is so important, to increase the penetration rate and ensure that as much as possible, all these smallholder farmers over the next 3 years can do this. So we go to intensify post-harvest equipment, which is what we are doing. And then we go to the reduction of losses, which is what the effects on providing these post-harvest equipment would do. And then naturally, we assure grain quality assurance. And when you assure the quality of your grain, you definitely can negotiate at the prevailing market price. And then that also has an impact on being able to guarantee offtake for that produce. And then that leads to earning dignified income. And so that's just a snapshot of how just the provision or the lack of the provision of post-harvest equipment can impact hugely on a farmer's income. So if the farmer's income is being affected, agribusinesses are also having their revenues affected. And that also has, a revolving cycle of inefficiency within the value chain. And then that affects the economy. So one of the lowest contributors to our tax system are agribusinesses in Ghana, because the incentive to empower the smallholder farmers and the understanding to connect them to the success of these agribusinesses is what we are actually lacking. So this then brings me to the question of the agro-champions approach, and I think I spoke about it in the beginning. It is cost-effective, sustainability beyond exit. WFP Ghana is ingrained within our country's strategic plan, and then the government of Ghana's agricultural policy program, PFJ2, which I think is a brilliant program and which I think has to be sustained irrespective of any political changes or any changes in the government itself or the government machinery. So we have 16 private sector agribusinesses that we are supporting. We have the government that we're also supporting. We are supporting the National Service Scheme, the Ghana Commodity Exchange, and then for this year, the Avema Irrigation Scheme. We'll be able to scale up to the other 15, like I said, over the next 2 years. So this is the characteristic of the private sector players who are seated here that we are supporting. 100% of them have access to smallholder farmers. 100% of them are providing training to their farmers. About 7 out of 16 of them are providing inputs to farmers worth $20 million every single year. Sorry, $20 million every single season. Access to equipment, they are providing worth about $6 million. Access to market, about $135 million in offtake every single year. That is their value proposition, and that is what they are bringing to the table. So if you're talking about a $50 million fund, you are adding 20 million, 6 million, and 35 million, and we're actually speaking, working with the private sector with an over $70 million budget, and that is the relevance to what they are bringing to the table. With government sector, it's the same. Ghana Commodity Exchange have been a technical and strategic partner to this program. They are contributing about 9,000 smallholder farmers to the program. National Service is bringing about 7,000 smallholder farmers. Their Verima irrigation scheme is doing about 500 smallholder farmers. But of course, once we replicate it, we'll see some good gains. In terms of the equipment distribution, how do we ensure that the equipment that is distributed reaches the smallholder farmer? And it's very important that while WFP is leading the procurement stage of that, the equipment suppliers will receive these equipments or will be contracted to then provide these equipment to the agro champions, who then will serve as custodians of the equipment. Because the purpose of the equipment is to reach the smallholder farmer and nothing else. And these smallholder farmers would either be able to go to the central locations where the agro champions are, in the case of dryers that have to be stationary, or in the case of threshers, the agro champions will have to take the equipment to the farms of the smallholder farmers. And this, we believe, can be best monitored by the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. They are made up of about 3 million smallholder farmer network across the country. And so when they speak, you have to understand. I think we're also very lucky that they've never called a strike for all their farmers to lay down their tools in the history of our country, if I'm right. And I think we should continue to massage them very, very well to ensure that never happens. And I think if they are here, I would like a round of applause for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Thank you. Great. In terms of how they were targeted, we worked with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. We are working with existing and exited WFP country programs. We worked with a list of companies that were targeted by the MasterCard Foundation for other programs that they are implementing. And then we've also worked with programs by other Afro members in this August House. So we have the list of agribusinesses here. You can meet them after the event to sign their autographs, because I believe the next Gangotes are in this gathering here. The impact that we seek, I think I've already explained this. If we're looking at 50,000 smallholder farmers who are producing under 50,000 metric tons, the value at a price point of about 4,000 Ghana cedis is about $12.5 million that farmers are having to share amongst themselves. This is about $250 per youth smallholder farmer per year. Per year. What we intend to do is that with the same 50,000 smallholder farmers, the post-harvest equipment will be able to increase supply of agricultural produce for rice, soy, and maize to over 60,000 metric tons, earning over $15 million for the smallholder farmers and about $300 increment in incomes. And I'm being very conservative with this figure. So I'm going to show a little video. It's about 1 minute, and that will end my presentation. But basically, it's about a group of beautiful, self-motivated women in the northern region of Ghana that we are working with to support and capacitate to be able to lead this transformation that we seek. We've all heard about premium foods. We've heard about Yedens Ghana. But if you notice, we don't have a premium foods equivalent or a Yedens Ghana equivalent in the north, whose vision should be able to serve the entire Sahel region. And so about 3 or so years ago, we set up 3 food processing facilities in the Lora, Fumbisi, and then the Tamale districts. And it's about 1.5 metric ton capacity. And the whole idea is that they'll be able to guarantee offtake from farmers to be able to process and transform it into cereal products and then sell to the senior secondary schools. And hopefully develop themselves into proper corporate structures that allow them to be able to target other regions beyond Ghana. And so there's a little documentary that we have for you to explain what we've been doing for and with them. Complete.
The reason why we started with this kind of enterprise is that we are in the middle of a lot of women farmers who used to farm just for a living, just for consumption. So we realized that no, they can do farming as a business and also to take care of their family at large. And also by doing that, working with the women farmers, we decided to incorporate with the youth so that they can also come in to learn and also to earn a living as well. So we are having a lot of youth that we are working with. They are here, we are doing a lot of things. We are into Tombra, we are into shea butter, granite processing, soya processing, a whole lot of things. in the value chain, so that as the farmer farms whatever crops that they can produce, we also add value to it. So by that, it will add income to their livelihood. The youth will also get money. Instead of going to down south for a greener pasture, they stay within to earn a living.
WSP ni a Mastercard Foundation kabalawa na nasuntia tinamatuwa nye bonka bu adi bi tinye bonka plane samina bi tinye bonka alemali gami to yara so tinavena say WSP ni a Master Foundation say bawa awatiete kare kachinde saya.
Thank you very much. And so I think my final comments are, it's just been 2 days after Founders Day, and I think there couldn't have come a better time for us to also co-create something. So I think we should not forget what this day brings to us as a unit, as a collective, and we should also not forget what the end goal is. The end goal is that government should be able to increase its allocation to agriculture. Number two, we should be able to see an introduction of agriculture into the primary school. And that is the only way where we secure the future of our young kids and make agriculture as sexy and as attractive as it should be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Don't leave yet. Let's just do the committee inauguration. Yes, so that we can just move straight into the panel discussion. So probably you will just... Yeah. You want to share something on the committee again? Okay, all right. Then we can call out the committee members.
All right. I think just when or before the program started, somebody asked me whether I've lived in the States. And I asked him that, why do you say so? And he said, I walk like a gangster. I just want to explain that I played soccer and twisted my knee, which is the only reason why I'm walking like a gangster. But as soon as it is healed, I'll be walking like almost every single one of you. So please forgive the walking. It's not a pose. It's the way I've been forced to walk. On that note, I think I would like to invite the Deputy Country Director. I would like to invite Mr. Atu onto the stage. And I would also like to invite a representative from the Peasant Farmers Association. If you can make your way up here, we would appreciate it.
Probably we should just give
the
whole list.
No, just those who... Exactly. Is the Deputy Country Director here? Anna? She had to step out. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, great. So I think we're not going to do it the typical way where people come and swear with a Bible or, it's not going to happen here. But I think we'll just want to acknowledge each and every one of you. I think it's also strategic that Graphic Communications is going to be our media agro champion. It's important that they are telling the story of what we are trying to impact. And so I think we'll just proceed to call out and recognize the very institutions that are forming the inaugural technical roundtable group. It doesn't mean that other institutions that have not been mentioned will not be included, but we have to go through the usual engagements to make sure that we tie in those legal knots. So, for now, I'm going to start with the Agricultural Engineering Service Department, represented here by the director. We'd like to have you just raise your hand and everybody see you.
Probably you stand as well.
Stand as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
For some few minutes.
We'd like to invite all the regional agricultural directors to be on their feet for us to acknowledge you and also to thank you for all the support you've given us over the past 2.5 years. Some of them are coming from, not some of them, most of them are coming from the northern regions, from Bono. Some of them started working from last week. They are here. So this is no small deal at all. We also have with us the National Service Scheme. We need to acknowledge them. They've secured 60,000 hectares of land in the Kumewu area. They're one of the richest government institutions in the country based by virtue of land assets, and they will be integral to how we make this successful. We have the Food and Drugs Authority. We have the, where are you, please?
Let's give it up to them, please.
We have representatives of the agricultural colleges. We understand today some equipment is going to their schools, and then the young kids are actually reporting to school, so we might not have them here. The Chamber of Agribusiness, my very good friend, Farmer Morrison, the firebrand of the agribusiness industry.
Just a second. Okay. So those that we've mentioned your names, the partners, I think we would like to invite you forward, okay, so that the crowd can see you, and maybe you share a word of commitment, you know, just to give us that assurance that this technical committee is going to work and work effectively. So please come forward for us.
Great. So please come forward if you heard your name or you heard your institution. I would also like to invite all the agro champions, AgriSolve, Degas Ghana, Ghana Commodity Exchange, National Service Scheme, Shepherd Mills. Please make your way up. TDX Limited, Batwitsa Ayachap Cooperative. Please make your way here. Songta Theatre, Mavmay Enterprise, the regional agricultural directors. We don't want you to have a representative. All of you should be here. You didn't come here not to be seen. Let the country see you and know that if it goes wrong, all of us, and we should take pictures of everybody here. Yes. So, do we have everybody? And then I would also like to invite all our, and this is the most integral part of it, all our outcome managers at WFP would be the main interaction points in rolling this out. So I want to start by Jamila. Please make your way here, head of the Tamale sub-office. I would like to also invite my team, my food systems team, Albert Akafari, Clemens Tamaklo. Tani, please make your way here. I can see you, Tani. I would like to invite Linda Asante, and then we'll do a proper introduction so that we know who to find and who is in charge of what and who is doing what. I would also like to invite our head of procurement. He will be the one frustrating the process, which is a good thing. Allah, Ismail, please make it up over here. I would also like to invite Essie Bande, our head of partnerships and communications. And then when all is said and done, and all the raw materials are procured, nutrition is very, very important. And on that note, patience, please make your way up over here. We can't leave you out. And then also Jackie, who is also leading our Koika digitization program, will be an integral part of how we digitize all the activities for the program. Do we have the district directors of agriculture over here? Please make your way up over here. Jacob and Co. Yeah, it's too many people, but you asked for it. So we would have it. It is. Some can come on the stage, please. Yes. And then we'll invite just a handful to just speak on everybody's behalf. So we'll need a representative from the RADs to speak. Just about 20 seconds. All right. Everybody here. Eugene and Ellie, I can't believe you are seated. Please, you helped us develop the curriculum for the post-harvest mechanization training school together with the Chamber of Agribusiness, the University of Ghana, the equipment suppliers, both those who are locally fabricating and those who are importing. So please come up. Your contributions are very welcome. Yes. Great. You couldn't resist it, exactly. Great. Fantastic. Lillian Bori, you are supposed to be here. You are leading the post-harvest transformation competition. Please, Lillian, make it up over here. So for those of you who are seated, this is not to indicate that you've been excluded, but we are actively working with your institutions to formally engage and bring you on board. And so this is going to be a growing post-harvest roundtable event that we'll be having. I think on this note, I'm going to invite Elom of AgriSolve. She has about 70,000 agribusiness across the country to speak. I also invite maybe the regional agricultural director for the Bono region to also speak on behalf of the RADs. And I think the Chamber of Agribusiness, and then we are done. Thank you very much. So Elom.
So we have a microphone here.
Microphone, you can just have it. Yeah.
Just some commitment remarks.
Stephen puts me on the spot, so I'm not really prepared for this. But once a farmer or working within the agriculture scope, always a farmer, and first off, you know we always have problems. I mean, when you meet an agric worker or a farmer for that matter, how are you? You know, the rains are too much or too less. The institution is characterized by many challenges, and it's of such relief each time we get, even if it's a drop of support, it's such a relief to us industry players. The supports go a long way, and especially that of post-harvest support. It's one, area that is neglected. I don't know if it's because it's at the tail end of production. So, there's never enough focus on that. But we all know that market is keen, market influences, or market determines the worth of production. And that makes, post-harvest interventions really, really critical to what we do. I am also happy to see many directors, district, municipal, regional directors here. It gives me a lot of comfort. And they work hard, in last mile communities to make certain that farmers receive access. We definitely and really thank WFP for this opportunity. We do not take it for granted. We'll continue in our stead to work towards alleviating the farmer, agriculture from poverty to better improve lives as well. Stephen, firstly, Barbara, thank you for the opportunity. And Stephen, thank you for championing this. And on behalf of all of my colleagues, I am certain we are committed to making the needed change. Thank you.
Yes. And just also to add that some of you in the crowd are so humble that you will not come up until I've seen you. I've just seen the head of the Women in Agricultural Directorate. Please come up and join the team here. I have spotted you in your trademark glasses, so please. So let's have the Dean of the Regional Agricultural Directors speak, Mr. O'Brien, please.
Okay, thank you, and then good morning to you all. If you look at
just 1 minute, yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute. Speak.
Okay, our main function or core duty is to ensure that we have abundant food, to ensure that we have food security. So if World Food Program is assisting us and bringing all these stakeholders together to ensure that our farmers reduce their post-harvest losses and improve on their incomes, it's a laudable idea. And we, on behalf of all regional and district agri departments, we pledge our full support to this committee that any technical expertise that they would need would be provided, so that at the end of the day, Mother Ghana will have abundant food and even export. Thank you.
So I'm told we're out of time, so we can only take just these 2 submissions. But thank you very, very much. I don't know whether we have to give the Mandela fist to show that we are inaugurated, or I don't know. What do we do? Should we just give the Mandela fist, please? Those of you who were freedom fighters 60 years ago.
But are we done with the photos, please?
Yes. Okay. So the photo would signal the inauguration. Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Steve, and thank you so much, committee members. We know that by committing to us here, you will stick with it and make sure you work efficiently. Right. We know we are far behind time, but we have one more important discussion to hold, and we'll be out of here. So we are going to have a panel discussion on post-harvest losses and the provision of post-harvest loss equipment. We all know that our smallholder farmers, they lose a greater percentage of their income due to this post-harvest long-standing issue that we have. And some of our agro champions have been working with over 21,000, 70,000 smallholder farmers to ensure that we reduce post-harvest losses drastically and increase our smallholder farmers, their income. So to have this discussion, I will invite my panelists. First, we have Elam Go. Elam is the founder of AgriSolve. Second, I have Gabriel Osei, who is the Director of Business Development at the National Service Scheme, and Hiba Deba, a Senior Business Development and Partnership Manager with Degas. And I will be your moderator. My name is Efia Sewa. Right. Please, can we settle? So take just a 1 minute quick introduction of yourselves and what you are doing within the agri space with your smallholder farmers. So I'll start with Elam at the far end.
Thank you, moderator, and once again, thank you to WFP for the opportunity. AgriSolve provides farmers with resources to enable food to happen and livelihoods to get better using a markets to back-end integration approach. And this is largely done through the development of specific projects around the needs of farmers. So we have a program called Yield Fix, which looks at fixing the yield challenges. Most people here are very much aware of the yield deficits within our farming communities. Farming is unproductive and becoming more and more unproductive. So what do we do? What are the solutions? So AgriSolve does provide inputs to farmers, and when we talk about inputs, it's well-researched inputs, R&D backed, fertilizers and technologies that gives precision to farmers. Then, so along the Yield Fix program, we realized that many women were not participating within these programs. In response to the lack of women participation, we developed a project around women. And of course, we work largely in the northern sector, and we all know, it's a known fact that there are a lot of sociocultural issues there. And so definitely women needed a certain special program that catered for their needs with land, their needs to access to inputs and, market platform, livelihood improvement programs like alternative livelihood, promotion. It cannot be that everyone is a farmer within farming communities, or, it's just farming that you are reduced to when the farming window is so short. And within the northern sector, we have just one window of farming. So farming is done, then what? So this program caters for women through and through. Then, of course, we have young people within the sandbox which are incubated. We do not expect that young people also come and take up this issue of 1 acre, 1 acre. It's not sustainable. It would not generate wealth. So my company incubates young people as well to make certain that they are provided with the skills and tools needed to make them better agri people, and not also reducing the possibilities of agriculture to just farming, but seeing way beyond. There's a trace aspect, there's transportation, there's all sorts of infrastructure development, and then value addition as well. So in a nutshell, these are what we do with about 70,000 farmers.
Thank you, Hiba.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time to attend today this breakfast networking session. I'd like to thank particularly WFP, MasterCard Foundation, as well as the Daily Graphic for supporting this program. And Very briefly, Degas is an agri-fintech platform that is headquartered in Japan and had started its operation since its creation in Ghana. We operate in the northern as well as the upper west regions in Ghana, supporting around, this year 21,000 smallholder farmers, but a cumulative number of 65,000 farmers in over the 5 past years. Degas's leverage or Degas's competitive advantage is, first let's start with the offering. We offer a comprehensive support package that includes input pre-financing. So we pre-finance seeds, fertilizers, and other inputs that farmers need for their season. We also provide extension services with our network of agents that visit our farmers to support their agronomist and agricultural practices. And on top of all of that, all of this is managed by advanced technologies. We monitor the fields, we collect data, and we utilize that data to inform our decision making and to optimize our operation. Thanks to this heavily grounded operationally approach, plus the advanced technology and data-informed decision-making, we have managed to achieve somewhat around 97% recovery rates with our smallholder farmers. We have capacitated them to really engage in that contract farming methods. We've collected a lot of data that can contribute to their financial inclusion with financial institutions, as well as create their digital profiles, ultimately contributing to more and more inclusion for that. We also, just very briefly, we support the transition from conventional farming practices to climate smart agriculture by promoting regenerative agriculture and carbon farming, hoping that we not only contribute to the increased revenues, but also diversified revenues through high quality carbon programs. That is briefly us, and over to you, Gabriel.
All right, Gabriel.
Thank you very much. Well, for us at the Ghana National Service Scheme, before I even begin, if you've not done your national service, kindly see me after this program. Otherwise, you lose your job. Come next month when we launch our authority status. By the way, we are no longer National Service Scheme. We will soon be National Service Authority. Thank you very much. Now, what we do basically, and what most of you know we do, is that we mobilize and deploy Ghanaian citizens who have attained tertiary education to both the public and the private sectors of the economy for national development. Our main aim is to develop programs and projects aimed to combat hunger, aim to eliminate illiteracy, improve health, and also promote employment among the youth. For the past 2 decades, the scheme has taken up agriculture as one of the tools to ensure that young people who have graduated from school have alternative jobs, sustainable jobs, instead of going out there to look for non-existent white-collar jobs. To that end, we have secured about 50,000 hectares of land in Kumewu in the Ashanti region, where currently we are training the next generation of young farmers using precision agriculture, climate smart agriculture, and we are ably supported by the MasterCard Foundation, Agri Impact, and our relationship with the World Food Programme borders on the post-harvest training program, which we are supporting by mobilizing the young students who have skills and qualifications in mechanization and all of that. So our focus is broad. We are also working with the WFP on the CLTF program, which is akin to what Hiba mentioned with the carbon stuff and all of that. For us, our aim within this project is to ensure that within the next 4 years, we train over 45,000 young people across the entire agri value chain. Our focus crops are rice, soya, tomatoes, and of course, poultry. We'll keep expanding as the demand comes. Through that, we are creating over 90,000 jobs for the young people across the entire value chain. So basically, that's what we do. And in partnership with WFP and their foundation, this is what we bring to the youth of the country.
Gabi, before you hand over, so how are you empowering the youth, the young graduates, to go into agric, make it more sexy, as Barbara said earlier, through the provision or training in post-harvest loss equipment?
Right. So one of the things that the strategies we put in place, on an annual basis, we deploy over 6,000 young people who have skills in agriculture. But the point is, as Stephen earlier elucidated, a lot of them have gotten the theoretical knowledge, but they lack the practical aspect as well. That is why we have created the enclave in the Ashanti region, where they are giving practical training. But one of the things we realized is that you may give all the inputs that are needed to the farmer, but if you don't take post-harvest seriously, at the end of the day, every effort comes to naught. And that was exemplified last year when we did a pilot project. And because of the lack of the right post-harvest equipment and machinery, we lost some of our harvest and produce. So the young people that are there, because we want to improve their livelihoods, because we want to ensure that they have improved incomes, etc., the post-harvest training or the post-harvest machinery that the WFP is supporting us with is key. We are supporting over 5,000 smallholder farmers within the enclave. And these are young graduates, national service personnel who have completed university and have dedicated themselves to pursue agriculture as an alternative, sustainable livelihood venture. And this can never be understated or underestimated. It is something that is really attracting them, coupled with the technology that is being used. We are doing irrigation, but not the normal type of irrigation. This is a solar-powered irrigation systems that will ensure all year-round production for tomatoes, for rice, as well as for soya.
Right. So, Elom, I'll come to you. You are working with over about 70,000 smallholder farmers. So how are you empowering them through the provision of post-harvest loss equipment that WFP is providing or supporting you with?
Hello. I'll take the opportunity of this question to share a joke. I've often said in 4 years, all farmers will be dead. I mean, it's not really a joke. If the average farmer is 60 years and life expectancy rate in Ghana is about 64, then your mathematics guess is as good as mine. We have youth advantage in Ghana and most parts of Africa. A good amount of the population, about over 50%, are below the age of 25, right? And this calls for us being extremely intentional about inculcation of young people into agriculture. There's really no other way. But let me tell you just how soya beans, for example, is trashed. I'll try to give a vivid description. Let me put it that way. So the soya beans, the grains are harvested and then packed into one area. And there are two ways, actually. The tractor is either used to pass on top of, the soya to kind of like it has to crack, and then the women pick up, individually with the sand, with the stones, that kind of thing. Or the women go into a rhythmic sort of, beating of the soya with sticks to thresh soya. This is a typical way that soya, or post-harvest soya is managed. So you get that soya, and about 20 to 30% of a 100-kilogram bag is sand and stones. But is it a matter of choice, or there's no other way? Of course, there's no other way. If farmers are not provided with the right tools or have no access to the tools that would enable them be able to better harvest or better indulge in post-harvest activities, then they have no other choice than to use the ways that they know and have. There are many challenges within the scope. I would say challenge of finance is key, because without the finance, without the right kind of financing as well, because that's also another agriculture challenge where there is finance available, it is not right for the industry. Then we also have the knowledge gap and the infrastructure gap, and then the markets or the lack of market framework. So now to come back to your question, having listed the challenges. So I'll give another typical example. If a tractor is about $28,000 to $32,000, a thresher would cost you another $5,000 and over. I'm just wondering how young people are supposed to be able to, fund these things without a certain enablers, a framework of institution or alternative funding solutions that would enable young people have access to some of these things. So what we have done fundamentally in AgriSolve, which, is definitely not enough. There are over 2 million farmers within the northern sector. We are able to reach just, 70,000, which is like a tiny representation of, the farmer scope and hence the needs that they have. We provide post-harvest services, and the moderator, you are from GESAL, and thanks to GESAL, that subsidize some of our facilities within the financial sectors to be able to acquire equipment that we extend to provide post-harvest services to farmers. We also enable a market platform. Market is essential for me. Market says it all. I've often also said that the market is ignored. It's like there's a lot of emphasis also on the production side and not the market side. And that is why farmers can finish producing at, say, a cost of 300 per 50 kilogram of bag, and market dictates that they sell at 150 Ghana cedis per bag, because the market has been left open. So it doesn't matter what the farmer production cost is, but it's what the market is demanding. So that lack of framework is also one of the things that we work on by leveraging our position as being between the farmer and the end users of this product, to depict the actual, scenarios within the field, like cost of production, cost of, a bag of maize, for example, and then translate it to the market and to see that farmers actually get equity, that there's fair pricing for farmers. Because in essence, that's it. If farmers are not, paid what they are due, there would never be that alleviation of poverty. The market pays farmer what it thinks that it deserves, but it cannot be. Because if I look at this Belacqua here, I'm sure that a lot of thought went into the market price. It may have been born out of, the cost of production. So why do we leave the market to be? It is the reason why farmers remain perpetually poor. And these are some of the, activities that we champion on the field to make certain that there's that market framework, there's that provision of transportation, provision of aggregated, produce, so that farmers could sell in bulk. And then I think, in essence, fair pricing. Thank you.
Right. So, Hiba, you are working with over 21,000 smallholder farmers. How important is the provision of post-harvest loss equipment in empowering these smallholder farmers?
Thank you for that question. I think before delving very specifically into the importance of providing equipment, I think what we can do is just take a moment and analyze what are the levers or what are the other catalysts of that can be provided to smallholder farmers. So I think that when we talk about what we impact the lives of smallholder farmers, what comes evidently is input costs, productivity, and post-harvest management. When you look at what you can actually control and what you can actually impact, I think that already overrules the input costs. Input costs are often decided by global market rates, by things that are way beyond our control, the Russia-Ukraine war, the COVID pandemic, the logistics cost and whatnot. So nobody in this room can control that. The government can subsidize it, but it cannot control it. So we can overrule that. Then what you have is the productivity. So the productivity basically relates to the agricultural practices that the farmers adopt to enhance their efficiency and yields. And I think that as a community and as a international organizations or at what the National Services Authority has been very successful in capacitating and improving and the access to knowledge and improving practices. So that leaves us really with just that last piece that nobody has been paying attention to, I don't know why, for the last few years, which is post-harvest management. And I think that the argument has been made very extensively this morning around what does that mean for a farmer to know that they're going to produce something, that they're going to expect an income from it and not realize it. That is a huge, major frustration that the farmers have and disincentivize them from going to farming, especially when we're interacting with youth. And this is really Degas's experience. And I think of the 21,000 farmers that we're supporting this year, 9,000 of them, almost 50% of them are youth. So obviously when interacting with them and when telling them, oh, you should join our program or something, it comes down to that. It comes down to the level of labor they're expected to do, and it comes down to the amount of income they're expected to generate. So really creating that narrative and incentivizing these youth farmers for adopting and staying in agriculture is really important. And the lever that we can do that is really around post-harvest management, guaranteeing the income that they can generate, and guaranteeing, increasing that income as well. I think that going a little bit further down from what this means to the smallholder farmers, I think that we can make also another narrative around how this impacts the entire value chain. When we talk about post-harvest management, whether it's cleaning, sorting, threshing, transformation, that also translates into value addition, value creation, which for us, private sector players, means a lot in terms of creating a competitive market, creating a sustainable market that allows organizations like WFP to transition out and create an economy of scale and create an independent ecosystem that is able to sustain itself and become durable in the long term. So I think that creating that mechanism is very important, and I really emphasize the role of the government and the role of international organizations in creating that basic mechanisms. But I believe that especially paying attention, equal attention as we do to input supply or to knowledge, as we do to value addition and value creation, is really important in that durability, in that sustainable picture of doing things that is beneficial for Degas Limited, but also for the smallholder farmers and the youth, the young smallholder farmers that we target. This is our experience.
Okay, so before I come back to you, Gabi, Elom, there's that notion of agribusinesses like yourself, you sort of exploit the smallholder farmers, through these interventions and all that. So I was asked, how important are you to the smallholder farmers, and how are you making them realize how important your role is to them? And in that way, it will translate into enhancing their incomes.
I hope I don't get here in responding to you. I've often said that the life of an agric worker is very hard, because we are working under abnormal, situations, very limited support, and so on and so forth. Doing agribusiness in Africa is mainly like being a loner. You must fulfill, all the aspects. You must get your own resources. You must, your own value chain player, secure inputs. Then if you are important inputs, you have to do the imports yourself. If you are exporting, you are, it's unending, so tiring. And people like us actually need encouragement, really, to be doing what we are doing. We are extremely important to the industry because, like I said, no other country, or no other continent, does agric in isolation. There's always that ecosystem in which, agriculture works. There's an environment that, has policies or working policies that has, resources that, agric workers could tap into. Some friends of mine, in this room, we've been talking about the current drought situation within the northern sector where farmers are losing their production. This year in particular, production of maize, for example, didn't cost the farmer less than 8,000 Ghana cedis. Farmers are losing that. There's a dry spell that has extended beyond, 4 weeks, and every step of the way, our agriculture is rain-fed, largely. So meaning that every step of the way, you need a certain amount of moisture in the soil to be able to plant, to be able to apply fertilizer, to be able to apply, crop protection. And farmers are losing out. I can imagine what this would feel like if farmers were left alone, or if we didn't have each other, even in the non-conventional manner, because there is no, intentional community for farmers. I think we create one for ourselves. With the MOFA directors, we kind of create an ecosystem where we, speak to each other, get information from each other. What does the district need? Okay, maybe this is the little I can do. MOFA director is supporting AgriSolve in this manner to get through to, other smallholder farmers. And so we need each other within this agriculture scope to be able to, even survive and to be sustainable. We are in about 23, districts connecting about 400 communities. And I tell you that my team at AgriSolve goes to the last end for the farmer. They do go to the last end that I am uncertain even if, governments would be willing to assess, because we believe that the last mile farmer also needs, attention. We believe that they are the drivers of food. And so whatever it would take us, whatever it would cost us to get to the farmer, we do that. I would quickly add that I have spoken to a lot of people within our works and my colleagues, Degas, and I think our works is driven by lots of passion for people and good intent for development. And that is why when the going gets tough, we still just have each other to lean on. We, kind of like handhold each other to make certain that we go through the tough times with the farmers. And all this while, I'm sure Graphic is even unaware of the situation within the northern sector. All we have is truly ourselves in that ecosystem, supporting each other to get by. Thank you.
Hiba, you can take the same question. Okay, how important are you to the smallholder farmers? But please make it brief.
Yes, it is. I think Elom, anyway, covered most of it. But in one word, de-risking. DEGAS de-risks farmers' operation and provides a protection for them rather than them procuring their own inputs and fertilizers. I think we provide the financial protection for them to do that. Can I just answer a question you didn't ask, why we are also important for initiative like this? I think that private sector players that, especially in the same approach that WFP has laid it this time, which is creating specifically existing networks, I think that makes us important to provide economy of scale. I think that these programs really target large numbers of farmers that are difficult to reach in a sporadic way. So having private sector players to play that role is also quite important. So from both sides, de-risking for smallholder farmers and economy at scale for international organizations. That is me.
Right. So Gabi, I believe you are trying to marry climate smart solutions and with the addition of post-harvest loss equipment. How important is this to the Ghanaian youth, the graduates who is going into agriculture? Or how are you making it so attractive to them that they see the importance of it from your perspective?
Right. It is absolutely important. I mean, you should visit Kumewu to see for yourselves. Ghanaian youth are not lazy. Create the enabling environment for them to thrive, and it will shock you what they can do. These are young people who otherwise would have wanted to be deployed or posted to the bank, the oil sector, etc. But they chose to come to where we are because of the compelling vision that we created for them. That is, the agric of old is not what we are doing today. Once the equipments are there, the land is available, inputs are there for them, the training and capacity building is on point, then you have the post-harvest equipment and machinery also available. You would see the extent that these young people can go to ensure that they make something for themselves. Hitherto, getting them to accept agriculture as their place of posting within our scope was a challenge. But when we told them what it is about, and when they came to the field and saw that the equipment, they are not going to do the cutlass and hoe, the slash and burn of old. We are doing mechanized agriculture, the right tools and the right equipment. They've developed the interest. And as we speak, even before we are yet to deploy the current batch of service persons, I personally have received over 400 calls from these young people saying that they want to be part of our Greek project. Not only that, the number of people that we delineated for the project have shot up, have doubled, because those there have sent the messages to them that, look, what we thought it was isn't the case. And so we are very important, and the role that WFP, MasterCard Foundation, and other stakeholders are playing in this is very, very key. When they come to the field and they see that after harvesting, they won't have a lot of aflatoxins in their produce. After harvesting, they will not be going around looking for threshers, looking for dryers to ensure that they get the quality that is needed. Once all of these are on the ground, they are enthusiastic, they are willing, they are able to give off their best. And that is what I think we should be looking at, because nobody wants to join the Unemployed Graduates Association. And so Agric is the way to go. And they have embraced it. And through this initiative, I dare say that in the next 2 or 3 years, you have national best farmers under 30 driving the nation through agriculture. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. So with that said, we would like to invite at least about 4 questions. Okay, can someone help us with the mic, please? Okay, so please, if you have a question, kindly move to that microphone for us. I think it would be good for us to line up, if that wouldn't be a problem for you, so that we can just take them quickly because we are far behind time. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Kofi Lucas, founder of Critical Strategic Thinkers Network. I would like to look at it from different angle. Do we know the consumption demand in metric tons for 40 million people in Ghana? Do we know that? Do we have that statistics? Now, I am of the view that agric is the way to go to employ our youth. And if we have to look at it from that angle, I think Friday, 21st June, Daily Graphic, front page, captured 7.3 million people face poverty. If so, then it means that at least we should work towards 1/3 of the population of Ghana to be fed on daily basis to meet the SDG 2, which will expire in 2030, 6 years from now. What are we doing to make sure that Sustainable Development Goals 2 is at least achieved in 6 years to come? What are we doing? So my concern is that if this forum or Daily Graphic and the other partners can throw a challenge to the political leadership in Ghana, that all those who want to seek our mandate to rule Ghana come out with a manifesto that will deal with this issue of feeding at least 1/3 of what the Daily Graphic published in their paper front page, so that we can now begin the conversation. If you are unable to come out to something of such nature, then you don't have business to go and buy your forms from the Electoral Commission and seek our mandate. I believe that we need to focus on how to take care of the poor, the needy, the less privileged, and the vulnerable, who constitute at least the 1/3.
That's
if
true.
If we are able to do that, I'm sure we'll be heading somewhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We take the next question. Please go ahead.
Good morning. I am Jacob Akisbadek.
Please speak into the mic. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I am Jacob Akisbadek, and I am with the Laura Municipal Department of Agriculture. My question, I believe, is to the three panelists, with the exception of the NSS representative. So far, we have had interesting discussions around post-harvest. We have touched on the production, and indeed, some of you have mentioned the critical challenges. One of you even mentioned the current dry spells being witnessed. I don't know if any of your institutions, or if all three of your institutions, have actually considered issues of insurance, crop insurance, and by extension, agricultural insurance, so that we can use that as basis to at least offset some of the challenges. I know in the past we've had some agricultural insurance and forms of it, which I don't think we've had positive results out of that. But I want to hear how together we can, discuss around how to improve upon farmers' challenges. Thank you. Over.
Okay, then Hiba, you can take that before the next question.
I answer now, right? Thank you for raising that question. I think you raised a very important point around insurance, and I'm not going to be giving you any solutions or anything. I'm just going to share our experience, because even our experience has been painful, even if we procure it. So Degas procures crop insurance against climate hazards and pests and allied perils every season. And our experience has been that it is quite expensive to do that, and it is not very accessible to every player in the field. I had this brief exchange with Elam earlier, and I believe that the procurement of insurance is still a very big challenge for agriculture companies because of the cost, as well as because of the nature and how it basically works. It requires a lot of data that most companies don't have. So for us to be able to procure insurance, we're not able to do that until the third year, where we built a lot of data around yields and data around, specifically by breakdown in every region. And then we start the negotiation, a scientific data around the seeds that we use, around the fertilizers that we use. And it's a really lengthy discussions. I've been negotiating this year's insurance for the past 3 months, and we still haven't closed the deal. Hopefully by next week, but that is just to tell you that the crop insurance is really not yet an encouraging. I mean, it is safe and it helps us a lot, obviously, but it is not a perfect measure against the risks that we face.
Right. Elam, do you want to add to that?
Are there risks in agriculture? Of course there are. We are currently confronted with a climate situation which doesn't look like we are ready towards, right? We've experienced the delayed rains, the dry spells consistently in the last 4 years. And I do not know what kind of insurance would be that daring to say that I am coming into agriculture to, absolutely the risk, agriculture. They cannot do it. It needs a more national consensus approach. It has to, stem from, governance, and it has a lot, infrastructure development, and so on and so forth. So they are trying their best, but we are not there.
All right, we take the next questions, please. How many people do we have? 4. Okay. 5. Ooh. Right.
Yes. My name is Mumuni Samyure. I work for MBC Africa. MBC Africa, we build the capacity of MSMEs in the agribusiness space, looking at one, making SMEs in the agribusiness space investment ready. We take them through 3 of our programs. We have the Startup Accelerator program that takes about 12 months. We have the Business Growth Clinic that takes about 6 months. And we have the venture building.
I think because of our time, if we can go straight to the question. Yes, I'm building the question,
please. Yeah, and we have the venture building. All this is towards making businesses investment ready and linking them to investors. One of the critical things that comes out as and when we speak to investors is the issue of post-harvest losses as well, because this is something that you cannot guarantee and you are not certain on. So if an investor puts in his money, yes, he expects his return at the end of the day. But when post-harvest losses sets in, it becomes difficult for the person to get the returns. So it's very critical for us, and I'm happy that we are here. So the challenge really is that many of the smallholder farmers in the businesses that we deal with do not have the equipment to be able to support them. It's good, Fuel Food Program is coming on board. But what is of more essence for me is the issue of food prices. Critically, we have a lot of interventions coming in. I hear from the Fuel Food Program, I hear from the USAID, I hear from PFJ2 and PFJ1. At the end of the day, the price of food items keep increasing. Of what volume of post-harvest losses will you want to link to the issues of food prices? That, of course, I understand about $1 billion is lost as a result of post-harvest losses. Our own estimates with our smallholder farmers put it at $300,000 annually. How much of this could we say is contributing to the rise or increase in food prices in the country? Thank you.
Thank you too. So Elam, hope you took note of that. Right, so the next question, please.
Good day. I'm Kofi Appel. I am asking a question because we all were talking about the farms, but have we considered food processing as a measure to reduce post-harvest loss? Because the big guys doing food processing is contributing a significant point or a significant value in curbing post-harvest losses. So what are we doing together to help curb that post-harvest loss in terms of food processing? Thank you.
All right, the next one. So after this, we can address.
Okay, my name is John Mack from Eco Radiant Engineering.
Please move closer, thank you.
My name is John Mack, Eco Radiant Engineering Solutions Limited. We actually manufacture food processing equipment. Now, looking at the post-harvest loss chain, starting from planting or inputs, then coming to processing to packaging. Looking at the chain now, we're trying to promote young people into agriculture and then farming. But here comes the case. We usually look at putting the thing on the field, bringing it to the market, and then getting it sold. There are a lot of things that goes into it that is more mechanical. And it's like always the attention is not drawn towards that. Coming to production, the input is there. If we want to prevent post-harvest loss, it means we have to put some mechanism or technology that will help prevent that loss. Now, coming into processing, using the manual way, definitely there will be post-harvest losses. So we have to put technology there. Coming into packaging, using the manual way will definitely bring losses, so we have to put technology there. But it's like most of the times attention has been drawn to how we can get a thing to a finished end, but the technology that comes into it has not always been factored. My question is, what is this program going to do towards bringing in actors that will be able to produce or develop equipment that will easily foster this, the production of food without losses? In this country, most times we import most machines that helps prevent post-harvest losses. And when the dollar rises, those machines also goes high. And that means the young farmer who want to get into farming cannot afford those things. What is the program going to do to support young people to help put up machines together that will help foster post-harvest loss? Thank you very much.
Okay, so on that question, that is why, I'll come to you. That is why the World Food Program has come up with this initiative by working with these agro-champions, to provide post-harvest loss equipment to support these smallholder farmers, the youth and all that, Okay.
The question is, World Food Program is supporting to bring equipment on board, but let's say it's a supporting agency. Here comes, we are promoting agriculture. Let's say World Food Programs ends its programs in 2025. There are still youth who would like to venture agriculture, but these machines that are to be used, they may not be able to get them. Here comes, we have youth in the country who can gather things together and then build up small machines that will support some of these things. But we don't have the machines that will help them put up nice machines that sometimes are needed. Many people say fabricated machines in Ghana usually don't look nice at their finished end. It's because we don't have the machines that will support that. Therefore, we have to import. What is the program going to do to help these young people who will put these things together to help farmers?
Hiba, you can take that, but also note that during Steve's presentation, he mentioned that we are training the young people, so that they can manage it for its sustainability. So that said, Hiba, you can comment on that, then we can take from Gabi.
I don't think that we can solve everything. I don't think that the glove fits into everything. I don't think we can solve all the issues with one program. I think you're referring to an issue around engineering and industrialization and localizing local production of machinery, which is an entirely different agenda to address. And I don't think that is under the mandate of WFP or MasterCard Foundation. I think that is a heavy task that cannot be solved by one program. So that is just to keep the realistic, the expectations somewhat realistic. And I think that question is also in line with the first one around food transformation and processing. The question is simply that food processing and transformation is extremely capital intensive. It is not easy to do it at one shot. As Degas did do its own analysis on how much it would cost, and trust me, it is not cheap. I think that we should appreciate the current efforts that are made that are solving these issues that need to be solved, and then we can continuously look at other perspectives to address other challenges that exist in the value chain. But yeah, I don't think it's one program can solve everything, all the issues that we think exist in the value chain.
So Gabi, you have a comment on that?
Quickly on that. Just to add to what Hiba said, the World Food Programme is sourcing quite a lot of the equipment locally. And so through that, it is also supporting the local economy and the local industry when it comes to mechanization. When it comes to how the smallholder farmers can access these equipment, that is why we have the various smallholder farmers groups, the farmer-based organizations, etc. So in our enclave, for example, in order to serve 5,000 farmers, the equipment that is needed, the dryers, the threshers, the millets, etc., are centrally located such that it is close to the farmers. So you have a pool of farmers accessing that particular machinery and equipment, which solves the purpose for which it was brought. Then again, there are other government agencies and ministries that are undertaking this rural mechanization programs. And I think they have established some in some of the districts. So if you are a young inventor or you are into that field, you can equally access either the tools or the machines. GEA is spearheading some of these things, as well as the Ministry for Employment. They also have centers across the country where some of these things can be sourced from. So as far as the WFP and this program is concerned, when it comes to boosting the local economy through sourcing the equipment and machinery from local dealers, local manufacturers within this country. And I think that is a boost. Further, let us expand the net and see how best other agencies, the efforts of other agencies, can help young people like you who are into the manufacturing of some of these equipment.
Two more. The first one on food, yeah, sure, you can take that one. I think we have two more people. Please bear with us. We'll take two more, then we are done. You can.
Okay. So how does post-harvest losses contribute to cost of food? It's a big deal. You can agree that when cost is spread, it becomes cheaper. So if a farmer spends 8,000 cedis in production of an acre of maize farms and yields 4 metric tons per hectare or even per acre, for the sake of the depiction, and another farmer does the same acreage and yields, 1 metric ton, and another does, 2 metric ton, it's definitely, varies in cost. So one of the big issues, affecting the farmer wealth creation and would come to the cost of food is the fact that we are not yielding. So, production is unproductive. And of course, that includes post-harvest losses. If yam, for example, close to 40%, of yam is lost. Yes, 40% of yam is lost, during post-harvest. Tomatoes, your guess is as good as mine. About, 50% of tomatoes is lost. I mean, there are times in Kintampo that, after harvest, farmers are committing suicide. These are things that we do not hear, but these are realities of agriculture. Because when it comes to the perishables, especially, there is no system of preservation. Tomatoes, growing areas do not have cold rooms. Yam growing areas, same. So the farmer is left to, preserve those goods in the best way how. And of course, the farmer wants to be in business continuously. So what do? They try to spread the cost over, the little that they were able to salvage, at the end of the day. And even with the market traders, I think over the last week, there's been a lot of, conversation around middle persons and so on and so forth. If you see where, most of these market women go to, to scoop these products from, I'm sure that you would have a lot more empathy and appreciation for what they do. Individual farmers cannot easily reach the market. It needs, a collector to put everyone together to be able to reach the market. Now, this collector does not have a cold van, in their pursuit to take food to the market. They would have to, resort to trucks that are not necessarily meant for, the kind of goods that they are transporting. The roads, are terrible. It takes 10 days to move some goods from, some parts of the northern sector. There's breakdown of, trucks here and there. So it's just cumbersome. And all of this, of course, would affect, food pricing. Because at the end of the day, the farmer is hoping that I can at least, recoup something to fund my next production and even the livelihood of farmers. And that's why year in, year out, farmers are
let's
even
wrap
poorer.
it up so that we can pick the next questions,
sure.
please.
So yes, it does have direct bearing on our cost of food. And hence, WFP is working towards, developing solutions towards post-harvest challenges. Other entities are trying their best, but we need more to be done to be able to actually save the food situation of the country.
Right, so we take the next one, please.
All right, good morning. I'm Dr. Ohene Asante, and I'm a secretary to the World Technology Forum. My question, I think, was initially asked, and Himba was very honest in her submission that this is a specific initiative with a joint partnership with Graphic Communications Group and also the WFP. I think we can give it up to them. They have done so well. My comments and contribution will look at how can we have further partnership and collaboration. Graphic and WFP have done this. Maybe it's targeting food systems and post-harvest losses. Maybe BNFT, and I'm not attacking anyone. BNFT and Food and Agriculture Organization can also come up with something. All right, thank you. Then I give it up to Graphic again. Graphic can also partner again with Food and Agriculture Organization positively, and I think fortunately for Ghanaians, we host the regional office in Ghana here with 54 countries coming to Ghana, so we can leverage on that. Then my next one is looking at how can we...
or a comment?
This is a comment, but my question now is looking at science, technology, innovations, research-backed production. How can we have productions that are backed by research, knowing that for the past 20 years, Ghanaians have been consuming rice a lot, maybe grains and legumes or cereals, and this is where our production pattern should look like. I want to hear something about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Well, my name is Felix Dermana. I work for the African Development Bank. The African Development Bank is a bank that is owned by African countries that provides non-sovereign guarantee loans to government and also grants as well, and also provide sovereign guarantees to government and also non-sovereign guarantees to private sector, and also provides some trust funds that from time to time they call for applications for the private sector, government agencies, and all other stakeholders to apply for. In Ghana, especially when it comes to agriculture, the bank is supporting the Ministry of Food and Agriculture with a number of projects that are in the savannas of Ghana. We have the Savannah Investment Program, Savannah Agriculture Value Chain Development Program, and the latest, which we are working with WFP, is Building Resilience for Food and Nutrition Security, which was financed by Global Agriculture and Food Security Program. I am happy this event has been organized as we are here discussing post-harvest losses. These programs have a lot of interventions that are equally addressing these ones. And I think that once I am here, I have to let participants here understand what the bank is doing and how we can collaborate to get the most impact for our farmers. Particularly with respect to the building resilience for food and nutrition security, it is purely for the youth and women. And this is using climate smart technology, providing small equipments to support these women and the youth, improve upon their productivity, and also link them to market. And one intervention that is critical here is looking at climate change effects. And so boreholes and other things are going to be drilled using solar for irrigation purposes, which I think is a game changer. And since we are working with WFP, I believe some of the smallholder farmers, listening to you, you have a wide range of smallholder farmers. These are investments that the bank has made that we can work together to improve the lot of our farmers. And again, there are also machinery, post-harvest. And Mr. Diang is here. We have supported to establish some mechanization services centers that provided equipment from production all through to harvesting. A lot of combine harvesters are available in the system that farmers can use. So those of you that have your farmers, be they large-scale or smallholder farmers, these interventions are available that you can all tap into. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Gabi, you addressed the food processing part that was asked. Please go ahead.
So, just to add to the earlier submissions, regarding food processing as a way to curb post-harvest losses, yes, it is part of what we do as National Service supported by WFP and the other partners. We not only do the production, but we also add value to it. So it's from farm to fork, right from pre-production, production, post-production. Every single aspect of it, value addition comes in. We are processing our own sausages and all of that here in Accra at our Papawo farm for the poultry product, etc. Now, someone asked about the issue with the post-harvest mechanization training is that these young engineers that we have assembled, about 500 of them that have qualified for the training, are going to be trained in the installation, operation, maintenance, and repairs of these equipment and machinery that have been locally sourced, as well as those from outside. And so it's a whole package, not just train how to use it, but also maintain and repair it. Since in this country, we have issues with our maintenance culture, we are beginning with these young people to change that narrative and get them to do the work better. On the research-backed production, I would want to let him know that the West African Center for Crop Improvement has released 3 new varieties of maize, hybrid maize. So other state institutions and then private institutions are doing what they can to ensure that the right varieties, be it maize, be it soya, be it rice, etc., come out so that our farmers will have the best seeds, coupled with the best agronomic practices, we'll be able to have bountiful harvest. And with the support of the WFP, we'll be able to curb a lot of the post-harvest issues that we have. Thank you.
So let's wrap this up, maybe a minute each. Please make it snappy so that it doesn't extend to two. On just your key highlights on this conversation and in ensuring that we enhance the incomes of smallholder farmers, and also to reduce post-harvest losses. So I'll take it from Elom to wrap it up.
This conversation, has been more of young people, in agriculture. And there's no doubt, I think I said that earlier, that Africa has the youth advantage. And for that matter, Ghana has the youth advantage. And we all know that there is a need for that paradigm shift, within the agricultural scope. We need, great transformation. But that cannot just be said, and it cannot be in vacuum. It would not just happen if we are not intentional as, participants, stakeholders, so on and so forth. We need to continue, opportunities in education, developing young people to have the right skill set for agriculture. And Barbara did mention this during her speech, that we shouldn't look at agriculture as just production. Agriculture is, one lucky industry. The value chain is so long, from transportation to mechanization and the farming itself, value addition, and so on and so forth. So we should be able to leverage on the extensive nature of its value chain to inculcate young people. Infrastructure development, this cannot be done by individual businesses, even if we wish to. We cannot construct the road from, Bolga to Mu. It's just impossible. If the northern sector is experiencing dry spell, what about irrigation? It's really going to be hard for an individual farmer to get up and say, I'm investing in irrigation. These are infrastructure development that must be, government initiated, backed, and executed. And we acknowledge that this takes time, but we need to start seeing a start of it. Extend agribusiness to mean value chain, intensify also the successes of agriculture. There are some interesting, outcomes from agriculture, and so we need to show that also more to encourage more young people to venture into the pursuit.
Very, very briefly, I think that from our standpoint, increased access to equipment and post-harvest, improved post-harvest management and involvement of youth is a means rather than an objective. I think that when we address those two challenges, we can create a positive ecosystem that is able to absorb a lot of the potential that is currently lost. So it is really just capitalizing on what is existing and creating natural results instead of around improving the whole value chain instead of focusing on the increased income being an objective. It will be a natural result. Yeah, that is it.
Thank you. My final words will be that we as stakeholders should continue to create the enabling environment for young people who have developed not just the interest, but the desire to go into agriculture. There's been a lot of work in the pre-production and then the production sectors of agric. It's high time we look at the post-production, we look at the reducing post-harvest losses, providing the equipment and machinery that are needed to ensure we reduce it to its barest minimum, thereby promoting growth and development for our nation. Thank you.
That said, thank you all so much to my panelists, Elom, Hiba, Gabi, and some key highlights from the questions and comments. That is the need for technology and innovation, local engineering, processing, factories, warehousing, and this we know that WFP is working with its partners to provide equipment, to reduce post-harvest losses. So thank you so much for your time and sharing these insights with us. We speak again. Thank you. All right, so that said, we are coming to the end. Yes, so we can go back to our seats, please. So that said, we will wrap this up by taking some few comments from Barbara. Barbara? Yes. You want to come up?
Thank you, everyone, and please accept my apologies for not being here to officially launch the roundtable discussion. But let me just share with you, I don't know if everyone knows, WFP, I think, is one of the only UN agencies that are solely voluntarily funded. That means we don't get any assessed funding from wherever. Everything that we spend, all of our budgets that we fund, has to be mobilized locally by WFP. So we never miss an opportunity to do that, and that's what we were doing when you called me earlier. So we don't have the luxury of resting on our laurels. So when we have these partnerships, we're on a constant scout to see how can we turn these venues or these encounters into funding opportunities. That said, I think that's what makes us so innovative, because we always try to see, look at challenges and find solutions. So I'm happy that we are doing this. I would encourage, just from the conversations, from the questions that were coming from the floor, WFP is but one drop in the sea of partnerships that is going to help move Ghana forward and expand Ghana's agricultural production and also enhance the agricultural value chain. I don't want anyone to leave this venue thinking that we are the panacea for the solutions. We all are. What we miss, you should complement. What you miss, we should be in a position to complement. But I think most of all, our goal is to support government and to put the agricultural farmers and also youth front and center. So how can we grow this industry, and also how can we harness their potential? I think is so key. We've started this. We would like to see this move into other directions beyond post-harvest, but along the agricultural value chain. So good luck to all of you all in your deliberation and in your future engagements with WFP, Graphic, MasterCard, Foundation, and all of the organizations that are here today. And most especially, I wish that one day when I look back or come back to Ghana and see what we've done, the agro-champion model has spread, and it's the way in which we do business in other sectors as well as in agriculture. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Barbara. So I think we've gone over time per the schedule that was shared earlier. However, the program has come to an end, but we will take a closing remarks from Anne, who is a Deputy Country Director for WFP. So, Anne.
great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact, and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies, The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz.
I think my role here is really to express a vote of thanks for having you all join us today. I think from the breadth of everybody who's in the room, it's clear it will take a village to be able to achieve the ambition that we are trying to do here. The conversation has started, and we ask that those who are not in the room today, you will carry on and be able to let them know and invite them into the space so that we can really expand the reach of this discussion. The aim is really, our ambition is reaching all people living in Ghana. I think there was a gentleman who was talking about those who are left behind and are food insecure. This is a start for us to reach everybody and end zero hunger in Ghana by 2030. So it's a journey. We thank you all for joining us, but most especially, we really thank the Daily Graphic for partnering with us. It's not often that we have a good, that marriage with the media, if I can call it that, but it's a great start to leverage your audience, your reach, in being able to support the ambition of the government of Ghana in ensuring that everybody is food secure by 2030. So thank you all, thank you everybody.
To your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact, and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies, The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day. Information is a great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact, and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies, The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day. Information is a great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact, and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access